Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin, wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, in the previous video I have explained to you how our sense of coherence is very important in terms of our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and our relationship insofar as the four rims of our existence: our roh, our qalb, our akal, and our jasad. So we have to understand that within our model, we know that our qalb, which is the heart, the qalb that is related to Allah, that is the spiritual heart, and the physical heart is linked together, just like our physical brain is linked to al-akal al-kulli, the spiritual brain, and our roh is the spiritual entity. So they are all the same, but the SEM, they are actually entities of operationality. Operational, that means if we are looking at the existence on this earth, the loci of control is our heart. And there's a lot of research now. For example, you can see a lot of research papers by many universities on the heart rate variability, heart rate HRV study. So how these HRV studies, they study the state of being a person, whether he is in anger, whether he's in hate, whether he is in peace, whether he's in happiness, whether he is in forgiveness, and so on. So they have studied a series of various values or state of being. State of being means you are angry, that means your state of being is anger. You are being peaceful, that means your state of being is peace. You are being forgiving, then your state of being is forgiveness. So they have done a lot of studies, and this heart rate variability is linked to our alpha state in terms of coherence, or beta, theta, and delta state. So I'm giving you just a chart, a simple chart. This is the heart rate. At normal heart rate, you have about 70 to 72 beat per minute. But within the heart rate, you have the alpha wave if you are at coherence. Alright, and it is very nice. It's following that. And then you are having the alpha, high alpha of 8 to 13 cycles per second that is built in. It's following your heartbeat. And you have coherence. So this you can see through the functional MRI as well as the EEG system. And now they have this whole other system where they have the HRV monitor. You can monitor this, okay? So they are studying coherence insofar as how you achieve the state of peace, of tranquility, of happiness, of deep thoughts. How? So, as I said, there are many studies now in various universities, more than 100 papers on HRV and how it is linked to how we can achieve peace, happiness, and success in this world. Alright? But within the Islamic perspective, we know our heart. We're talking about our heart coherence in terms of both the heartbeat and the alpha wave. What will give the strongest sense of meaning and purpose? They study many states of being. For example, if you are being forgiving, they found out that forgiveness is the highest, and compassion. So these two are the highest state of being in which you can get coherence. Alright? So the highest factor that can make you happy is what? You forgive, forgiveness and compassion. And then the rest will be love, peace, happiness, care and share, which I have mentioned earlier in the earlier video. But what is important is that if you are in the state of hate, anger, revenge, then you have a high beta and your heartbeat is very high. So it is, if you look the HRV monitor, it is all mumbo jumbo, it's jumbled up, and this is your heartbeat, it's all messed up, and also your heart rate variability insofar as your high beta is all very messy. So all this you can see in the screen. Alright, so when you have those devices, you can see those with the software, you can actually see all these things. And what does this reflect? This reflect hate, this reflect anger, this reflect revenge. So how are we living our life as Muslims now? Are we expressing hate, anger, or revenge, or are we expressing forgiveness, compassion, love, and mercy? And this is a question that we have to ask every one of us, Muslims, because unfortunately, a lot of us are given a program of hate, given a program of revenge, given a program of anger. So these are the qualities that result in extremism in Islam. What is Daesh or IS? It is hate, anger, revenge. What is Boko Haram? What is the Taliban? It's all these kind of things. So we have to understand that in their heart, what do they see? All this nonsense. If you measure a Daesh fighter, this is what you see in him, which is manifested physically. So it's important for us to understand these signs. This is science. I'm not talking about something that is outside science. This is within the science of psychology, within the science of humanistic psychology, within the science of how we Muslims must come together to be able to express forgiveness, compassion, love, mercy, care and share. Because this is what Islam is. Because Allah tells us about Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim every day. We will start our prayer with Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, and we also start with remembering Allah in His magnificent name, Ghafurul Wadud, most forgiving, most loving. So if we want to get coherence in our heart, we must shift from hate, anger, revenge to forgiveness, compassion, mercy and so on. So the two most important studies that has been done so far shows that forgiveness and compassion is the highest value any human being can have insofar as having a peaceful life, a happy life, a successful life. So if we want success, then we must express coherence in our way of life, because Islam is a deen, way of life. So our deen must be a coherent way of life, best expressed in terms of our forgiveness, our compassion, our love, our mercy, relating back to the wonderful names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He is the most merciful, most compassionate, He is the most forgiving, most loving, and all the beautiful Asmaul Husna that we can relate as a way of achieving coherence. So inshallah, I will show you how this can be done. Alright, I've given you the 4 steps, but some of you may have a question, how am I going to shift from here to here? Alright, how are we going to, for example, give forgiveness? I've given you some tips about giving forgiveness and so on, but I'll give you more tips so that you ask yourself, reflect within our life, do we have hate? It could be we hate people who have caused us evil. We may hate even our parents. We may hate our friend, old friend, somehow, or our enemy, more of our enemy. We may hate so many things. But are we expressing hate all the time? Because sometimes you go to the teachers, some of the Islamic teachers is just teaching you hate, teaching you anger, teaching you revenge. That is not Islam. Whatever is the title of that sheikh or that person is said to say they are teaching you the wrong sense of Islam. The true sense of Islam is a deen that is Allah has sent our Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the Rabbul Alam, as the Rahmatul Alameen, rahmat for all the, not only this world, for the whole universe. Rahmah means what? Forgiveness and compassion. So we must shift a lot of the very negative form of the teachings of Islam to a very positive form of teachings of Islam, so that we can live in peace in the 21st century, because like it or not, we will have non-Muslims living with us. In some countries there are more non-Muslims than Muslims. Alright, you will have Christians, you have Jews, you have atheists, you have Hindus, you have Buddhists, you have everybody. So we must live in peace. Today is a global village. We cannot say, okay, only Muslims has the right to certain things and the rest of humanity cannot. You can't, because we have this whole global problem. This world today is heading towards a disaster, towards a very evil ending if we don't all get together. Muslims, non-Muslims must get together to make this world a better world. That's why within the framework of positive psychology and within the framework of our being the Caliph of Allah, we'll always stress the need for Muslims to lead the world, to change the world to a positive, wonderful world, always remembering that we are the servant of Allah, always striving to be His Caliph on this earth, striving to make ourselves good, helping others to be good, and make this world good for all humanity and all good creatures on this earth, inshallah.